Good evening, everyone from Moscow. I hope you all are having a great day where you're at. It's a pleasure to see you all again. Thanks again for stopping in for the lecture. The professor is in, and we are continuing our journey to nothingness. That's what my professor used to say at the Greek Orthodox Seminary. Let us continue our journey to nothingness. So I will start our lectures the same way. So there's a lot to cover, a lot of interesting news and developments. I've had a full day today, a lot of meetings, a lot of great interviews. There's a great interview coming out from a very famous Greek journalist. I want to plug it already for you all. It's in Greek, so it's about a 2-hour interview in Greek. If you are a Greek speaker, a native Greek speaker, I hope you enjoy it. And for those who are not native Greek speakers, you can enjoy listening to me speak in Greek for almost 2 hours. So that was great. That was with the Greek journalist Thanasis Avgerinos, who is the open correspondent in Moscow for the Greek channel. So hope you all are doing well again. And let's get into it today. There is some big headlines today. Of course, we know that we are entering another day into this war of choice by the US and the Zionists against Iran. Iran is definitely giving them a run for their money and definitely is not defeated yet. In fact, in my opinion, Iran is already victorious. It has shown that a conventional army can stand up to not one but two nuclear powers and basically hold them at economic gunpoint by choking off the Strait of Hormuz, which for some odd reason they didn't think was possible, but clearly it's shown otherwise. Let's get into this topic today, which I think is very important. And let's start out with a headline that appeared today, which was Christians and Hezbollah unite against Epstein empire. This was by Paul Nuki. It was published about a day ago or so, and it has since been taken down. It has been censored, which for me is quite unbelievable. But I want us to read the article together, and we'll go through some interesting facts for you all and interesting details. And I think that this is going to be an interesting show for you all. So let's get into it. And I'd like to, at first, what I'd like to do is, give me a second here. I'm going to take a look, make sure that we have, yes. All right, perfect. So let's make sure that we have all of this stuff. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to start with the article here. So let's read this article together for those who haven't had a chance to read it because it's been censored now. Here we go. So the article was originally entitled Christians and Hezbollah Unite Against Epstein Empire. And this article, which was a repost from MSN News, this one then says Lebanon unites against the Zionists. So it starts off here. Here's an image of Saint Rafka in a Christian village in Ras Baalbek, Lebanon. And the article starts off by saying, the complexity of Lebanon is apparent in few places more than Ras Baalbek, a Catholic Christian town in Lebanon's northern Bekaa Valley, close to the borders with Syria. The town, which boasts 2 Byzantine churches, has teamed up with Hezbollah in a bid to preserve its heritage and protect its 6,000 devout Catholic residents. So close are the two communities that the Iran-backed militant group buys a Christmas tree each year for the village. The relationship between the village and Hezbollah is stronger than with the Pope. Rifayat Nasrallah, 60, a quarryman and village leader whose marble sarcophagi line the village cemetery, told the Telegraph during a visit in the midst of war. The Vatican did nothing for us, but Hezbollah spilled their blood to protect us. The Pope only has prayers. 2 soldiers from the Lebanese army, whose political leaders have vowed to disarm Hezbollah, sit in Mr. Nasrallah's home as he explains the local politics. A crucifix hangs next to the portrait of Hassan Nasrallah, no relation, Hezbollah's former Secretary General, on one of the room's walls. The Bekaa Valley is beautiful, dangerous, and cosmopolitan in equal measures. Christian, Sunni, and Shia Muslim villages sit cheek by jowl. As the Telegraph drives there, Israeli jets and drones are hunting Hezbollah positions in the hills to the west after the militants let rip one of their long-range ground-to-ground missiles towards the entity the previous night. These missiles are large and said to be launched from adapted shipping containers carried by articulated trucks, which make the drive there hazardous. But the threat that brought the Christians of Ras Balbak and Hezbollah close came from the east. The village sits at the foothills of the arid Kalamun Mountains, over which you can trek just a few kilometers into Syria. It was from there, between 2013 and 2017, during the height of the Syrian civil war, that Islamic State fighters launched several assaults on the village, threatening to wipe it from the map and behead its Catholic residents. The village sits at the foothills of the arid Kalamun Mountains, over which you that's just the caption there. The first attack came from a village called Kasr, just 7 kilometers from here in Syria. IS came over the hills and reached the edge of the village and kidnapped some of my workers and tortured them, he said. At first, it was only Hezbollah and the villagers who fought back against the Salafists. We fought together with missiles and rockets. Many were wounded and some died. I was almost killed with shrapnel in my back from a mortar. Mr. Nasrallah did not say so, but the bond between the villagers and Hezbollah is a case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, or that's how it started. During the Syrian civil war, Hezbollah sent thousands of fighters in support of the Iranian-backed Assad regime. Their adversaries included jihadist organizations such as ISIS and the al-Qaeda-linked Jabhat al-Nusra. When IS first struck on Lebanese soil in 2013, the group was quick to the defense of the villagers, unlike the Lebanese army, which only became involved later. The army was weak. The leader of the army at the time was not strong. He did not have the political support for the fight. Only later in 2015 and 2017 did they help, said Mr. Nasrallah. And this is an image of a cross standing above the Christian village of Ras Balbek. One of the 2 Lebanese soldiers said, I lost 5 friends. One Humvee we were following was blown up by a mine. 3 colleagues died in that. We had good quality soldiers, but at first we lacked logistics and equipment. In 2017, the Lebanese army did see IS off and is credited for doing so in much of Lebanon. The dawn of the Jurds, the hill, anti-terror operation was documented in official dispatches at the time. The army liberated today around 30 square kilometers, making the total liberated space since the beginning now around 80 square kilometers out of 120 square kilometers, said an official army memo dated August 20th, 2017. It added, during the military operations, 3 soldiers fell and a 4th was severely injured as a result of the explosion of a landmine that hit a military vehicle. Moreover, 2 other soldiers were slightly injured during the clashes, while the operations resulted in the death of 15 terrorists and the destruction of 12 posts containing caves, tunnels, communication paths, fortifications, and different weapons. Today in Lebanon, there are again widespread fears, so far unsubstantiated, that Syria will become involved in the war. Hezbollah suspects that the Israelis are making use of Syrian airspace to launch commando attacks on places like Nabi Shit, which was attacked 2 weeks ago. And the Christians of Ras Balbek are worried about renewed attacks from Syrian Salafist groups like IS. His history speaks for itself, said Mr. Nasrallah, of Ahmed Hussein al-Shara, the new Syrian president, who once led the al-Nusra Front, the al-Qaeda affiliate that fought against Hezbollah in Syria. We have a saying, you cannot change a wild animal. He is what he is, and he is at our border. So this is again a picture of Rifat Nasrallah, and there's the image of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, the martyr. There is no evidence that al-Shara has any plans to attack Lebanon, let alone Christian villages. Most analysts say he has enough on his plate stabilizing Syria. And on Friday, the IDF announced it was again bombing areas in the As-Suwaida area of Syria's south in defense of Druze communities there. Nevertheless, fears persist, binding the Christians of Ras Balbek and Hezbollah ever closer together. So much so that Mr. Nasrallah said that Israel is our first enemy, Hezbollah is our friend. He and a Shia refugee from a Hezbollah village farther down the valley recounted the many thousands of Israeli airstrikes that occurred during the 13 months of the last ceasefire, which ended when the Iran war started. The period, said the refugee, Ahmed, 30, was the cruelest part of the war. There were violations every day, bombs in the front of our houses, drones always overhead. There were mothers that saw their children killed in front of them and children who saw their parents killed. There were cases where the Israelis would call and say, "Do you want to die with your family or die alone?" They would then walk out and be killed in front of their children. How much courage does that take, and how much cruelty? Here's a statue of Holy Mary in Ras Balbek. Israel said all its airstrikes during the ceasefire were in response to Hezbollah violations, but the toll was significant. The United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon recorded more than 10,000 ceasefire violations over the period, including air and ground incursions. The Lebanese authorities reported 331 deaths and 945 injuries in the first 12 months alone. This has left many, like Ahmad, traumatized. And like Mr. Nasrallah, they are reaching for conspiracy theories to explain things, some ancient, some much more modern. We are at war with the Epstein people, the people eating, frying, and raping kids. They are monsters, beasts. They are not humans. But the worst part is they are the ones that rule the world, said Ahmad. Does Mr. Nasrallah worry that Christian Ras Balbek's relationship with Hezbollah may now place the village in peril as Israel and the Lebanese army seek to disarm the militant group? His answer was an emphatic no. How can we as Christians in this area not be with Hezbollah, he said. They protect our churches. They helped fight ISIS. During COVID, they gave us free care in their hospitals. When there was no electricity, they gave us generators. They even put up a Christmas tree at Christmas. How can we not be with them now? Wow. What an article. What an article. And I'm sure many of you can understand why this article was censored. This article is no longer on the Telegraph's website. It has been taken down. It has been censored. Not only that, not only has it been censored, you cannot find it in the Wayback Machine. I tried today. I found one entry and I could not see the article there. So if anybody can see it there, please let me know. Put it in the chat. But I couldn't even see it in the Wayback Machine. If it wasn't for this website that reproduced this article, I wouldn't have it on a website now. Maybe it's on X in screenshots, but the article is not around anymore. And I think everybody in the chat, everybody who's watching, we've got about 2,146 people now. I think that all of you understand why you can't find this article. Because the Christian Zionists, it's on Reddit, I see. Very good. Yes, on Reddit. The Christian Zionists keep saying that the enemy is Islam, the enemy is Muslims. But in the Lebanese case, the enemy are the Zionists and the Epstein class. And Shia Muslims and Christians are united against that. So I want to emphasize this point, and I think it's a very important point to emphasize, that the classic ideas of sectarianism, the classic ideas that somehow Islam wants to enslave the world, destroy the world, it wants to bring Sharia law to everyone, it's just not true in this case. Hezbollah is part of the Lebanese fabric, and many, many Christians support Hezbollah. When I was in Lebanon for Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah's funeral, which was not my first time to Lebanon, I've spent a lot of time in Lebanon, you could see the Christians, you could see the Druze, you could see many communities that support Hezbollah. And that's important to note here. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you another very interesting, or a couple articles to show you another Christian perspective on Hezbollah. And I think that this is interesting because I know in the chat we have some Orthodox Christians, and I think that this is very, very important. Very important. Let's take a look. Let's take a look and see this article here. So this article is from the New Arab. It's from 17 November 2024. Palestinian Orthodox Archbishop slams pro-Israel Huckabee's U.S. ambassador nomination. The Greek Orthodox Archbishop said if Huckabee was a true Christian, he wouldn't go on to deny the existence of Palestine and Palestinians. This is very, very important. And actually, this Archbishop Hanna, Atala Hanna is one of my absolute favorites and heroes. And there he is. There's a picture of him. He's also in the thumbnail of this stream on YouTube, which you can check out. So this article says Palestinian Greek Orthodox Archbishop Atala Hanna condemned on Saturday the appointment of Mike Huckabee as U.S. ambassador to Israel, calling it regrettable that such staunchly pro-Israel individuals hold leadership positions in the country. The renowned Palestinian Christian figure said that it is unfortunate that Huckabee and other Trump appointees are affiliated with Christianity, as the religion is entirely innocent of their positions, rhetoric, and actions. Huckabee, a pastor with evangelical views, has a track record of pro-Israel beliefs. The soon-to-be ambassador has previously denied Israel's occupation of the West Bank and has gone as far as saying that there are no Israeli settlements in the Palestinian territory. Huckabee has also said there is no such thing as the West Bank. It is Judea and Samaria, in reference to the biblical term used by the Israeli government and the Israeli far right. In a scathing statement on Facebook, the Archbishop said, Huckabee alleges that there is no such thing as Palestine or a Palestinian people, as though he has not read history or refuses to acknowledge it, that Palestine exists and its people exist, whether he likes it or not. Huckabee, described by Trump as someone who loves Israel and the people of Israel, and likewise the people of Israel love him, was named on Tuesday as the Republican began finalizing his cabinet for his incoming administration in January. Hanna, the Archbishop for Sevastia, said that if Huckabee and other pro-Israeli Trump affiliates were truly Christian, they would call for an end to the deadly wars in Gaza and Lebanon and advocate for a just solution to the Palestinian issue. Palestine is mentioned in the Bible, and instead of these racists denying the existence of Palestinians, they should work towards resolving the Palestinian issue, which is the key to peace in our region and the world, he added. The Archbishop also slammed the concept of Christian Zionism, saying that the Greek Orthodox Church does not recognize the term, calling it alien to Christian values. The concept is a common belief among sections of evangelical and Protestant Christians, specifically in the United States, that the return of Jews to the Holy Land and the establishment of the State of Israel in 1948 occurred in accordance with biblical prophecy and will thereby make way for the second coming of Jesus. The concept has been criticized by Palestinian Christians over the decades for its use in justifying the occupation of Palestinian territories and the erasure of Palestinians through war and displacement. Archbishop Hanna has long advocated for Palestinian freedom and condemned Israel's occupation of the West Bank, the ongoing war in Gaza, and Israel's discriminatory policies against Palestinian Christians. He was previously arrested by Israeli authorities during the Second Intifada for refusing to condemn Palestinian activities in that period. So you see here, we have a Orthodox Archbishop from the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate in Jerusalem, who is basically saying, absolutely not. We don't, number one, we don't recognize and we don't accept Huckabee's appointment. And we think that, once again, it's going to harm the Palestinian people. And the second thing, that Orthodoxy does not recognize Christian Zionism. Yes, some Protestants do. Protestants who have a dispensationalist theology, which of course is not in line with mainstream Christianity, or what we could say is apostolic Christianity. And he's saying no. He's saying absolutely not. We don't tolerate it. It's not Christian. It's not in the Christian tradition. And I think that that's very important here to note. And also his idea of unity, which I'm going to go to right now. His idea of unity is essential in especially this region, and it is historically based between Muslims and Christians. So let's take a look at what he said, what Archbishop Hanna said about Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah, because I think that this is also very important. This comes from Al-Mayadeen. We remain loyal to these sacrifices, Sayyid Nasrallah's sacrifices, says Archbishop Atala Hanna. So Greek Orthodox Archbishop of Sevastia in the occupied Al-Quds, Atala Hanna, delivered a eulogy for the former Secretary General of Hezbollah, martyr Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah. So it starts here, and you see, we remain loyal to these sacrifices. That's Sayyid Nasrallah's sacrifices. This is a Greek Orthodox Archbishop saying this. This is not an imam or a sheikh or an ayatollah or somebody like that. This is a Greek Orthodox Archbishop. I think that's very telling, and that's very interesting to know. What does he say in his eulogy? In just a few days, Lebanon will witness an extraordinary and historic event, the funeral of Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah and his fellow martyrs. So he's, of course, recognizing that Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah is a martyr. And that's also important, because I've seen on social media, many Orthodox Christians were quick to say that Ayatollah Ali Khamenei was not a martyr. But I think for some, including Archbishop Hanna, they would be considered martyrs for their sacrifice in defense of the Palestinian people, their sacrifice for the oppressed. And they would see some level of Christian value in that. Absolutely. I don't think that there's any doubt about that. He goes on to say, from Al-Quds, we stand in reverence and honor for his, that is Sayyid Nasrallah's sacrifices, as well as those of his companions who stood with Palestine, defended it, and paid a heavy price for its cause. We remain loyal to these sacrifices, and the entire Palestinian people remain faithful to the sacrifices of His Eminence and his comrades. Look at this language. Archbishop Attila Hanna of the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate in Jerusalem, one of the 5 historic and ancient patriarchal sees, he is saying that he not only recognizes and honors and reveres the sacrifices of Nasrallah for Palestine, but also that they remain loyal to these sacrifices. And I think that's very important. And he refers to Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah as His Eminence, which of course is an honorific. And I think that's very telling, very interesting to see, because you don't hear this in the mainstream media. When's the last time you heard in the mainstream media that there are Orthodox Christian archbishops speaking positively about Hezbollah? You never hear it. Even now, they censored the article from the Telegraph. It was a good article. I didn't even think it was that biased. It was just quotes from people. But you can see it's dangerous. It's dangerous for them. Attila Hanna goes on to say, as we extend our condolences from the heart of our sacred city, we affirm that we will never forget those who stood by Palestine in the darkest times and most difficult circumstances. Our enemies seeking to displace and annihilate Palestinians, the word surrender has no place in our vocabulary as Palestinians. He is very patriotic and loyal to the Palestinian liberation struggle. And that's one thing that is unique here, because the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate in Jerusalem is the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate. So a lot of the leadership of the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate are ethnic Greeks who come from Greece or Cyprus or the diaspora, go to Jerusalem and end up taking positions. Archbishop Attila Hanna is a Greek Orthodox Christian of Palestinian ethnicity and nationality. So he's Palestinian, he's an Arab. And in this way, it's important to note that there are very few Palestinian archbishops, like hierarchs, in the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate in Jerusalem. There's been a big campaign to try to have the next patriarch be a Palestinian. But there's a lot of pushback, especially from the Israelis, who won't tolerate this at all. Let's go on here. He says, we are one family, one ummah, standing against colonial projects that do not target Palestine alone, but the entire ummah. Our message has always been and will remain that Palestine is the compass. He's referring to Orthodox Christians also as part of the ummah, Palestinian Christians. So the ummah is not only for Muslims in his conception, the ummah is for everyone, So this is very interesting. Very, very interesting, very unique. And I think that this is a great opportunity to reflect on the life of not only Sayyid Hassan Nasrallah and many other martyrs, but also the living legacy of so many who stand with them and who stand with Palestine, including Archbishop Atala Hanna. He says, we, Christians and Muslims of the Levant, will remain one united ummah, with Al-Quds as our compass and Palestine as our cause. We are one family. This is who we have always been, and this is who we will remain. I mean, this is a beautiful, beautiful statement, really. If you think about this as a eulogy from a Greek Orthodox archbishop, and he's saying, look, we are united against Zionism. At this point, he didn't have the language of the Epstein class, the Epstein regime, the Epstein world order. But certainly, they're standing against Zionism and the forces of evil. And I think that that's critical to understand here. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful statement, I believe. Very, very noteworthy. Let me just save this here. And then we have one more article that I'd like to share with you all. Again, from Archbishop Atala Hanna. And he says, this is from 2024. Palestinian Orthodox Archbishop Atala Hanna exposes Christian Zionism and Mike Huckabee's nomination. But the quote here is this right here. This is very important. He says, we do not recognize what is called Christian Zionism. This term does not exist in our Christian literature or ecclesiastical lexicon. The blending of Christianity and Zionism is entirely condemned and rejected by us, especially as Christianity is a religion of love, mercy, brotherhood, and peace, while Zionism is a racist and terrorist movement responsible for the disasters and setbacks our people have faced, culminating in the genocide being perpetrated against our beloved brothers and sisters in Gaza. So, I mean, this is amazing. I mean, I won't go through all of it, but I'd like to go to some parts here. Let's see, where do I want to? Actually, we can just go to the end here. So we reject all forms of racism and hatred. He considers, of course, Zionism to be a form of racism. And he says, I reiterate that we reject the term Christian Zionism because we consider it an insult to Christianity and its values. I urge journalists who wish to speak about such people to describe them as the group falsely claiming affiliation with Christianity, while they are truly aligned with Zionism and its racist, barbaric ideologies and positions. So I think that, it's clear that Archbishop Atala Hanna doesn't believe that Zionists in any way want peace. They're not about peace. They're about war. And they're about ethnic cleansing and genocide. And that, for me, speaks volumes here. It speaks volumes. So for our purposes, we need to understand that the idea that is thrown around that Christians and Muslims are enemies, it's completely artificial. There have been moments, absolutely, I'm not going to deny the history that has existed between some empires, some rules, some atrocities that were committed, certainly. But at the local level, not at the governmental level, at the local level, Christians and Muslims in many communities have lived in harmony for centuries. They've worked together. They have a lot in common. For example, in my family, they intermarried. My mom is Orthodox Christian. My dad's Shia Muslim, and they have a happy marriage. They've been married 40 years or so. So I think that that's important. That's important to note. And I think that it's critical to not feed into false narratives that don't have anything to do with the reality. And we've seen, of course, some US politicians exploit this. This has been a common tactic to exploit the tensions, to exploit the sectarianism, to heighten the tensions, to fan the flames, so that they can kill each other and Americans can just sit back and Israelis can sit back and enjoy the show. That's what they want. This is purpose. This is on purpose. This is by design. And that's very clear. So what I'd like to do now, we have a short stream tonight. I have an early morning. So I'll be traveling over the next days. So I will not be on the Wednesday show, but the Wednesday show will go on DD Geopolitics. So everyone check in on that. I'll be bringing you another episode, hopefully on Thursday afternoon of Endgame, which will be Endgame episode 2. Make sure to definitely check that out. If you haven't checked out Endgame episode 1, go to my YouTube channel. I'll put it again here on the link or on the different pages here. For those who don't know, it's YouTube, and then you type in Christopher Halali Official, and you will get to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, comment, share, all of that good stuff. There's a lot of good videos on there, and I really try to bring important content for you all, especially on some of these critical issues, whether it's short streams, long streams, shorts, whatever it is. We try to bring it to you, and we try to bring you the latest information, and that's very critical. Today, of course, we're going to take a historical time machine, and what I'd like to do now is I'd like to open and have an opportunity to speak about an anniversary that we're having today. Let me just make sure I find it here. Let's see, where is it? It's somewhere here, I hope. Here we go. Found it. Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can actually open it in. Hold on one second. I'm going to try to. Where did it go? Oh, it's going to go back up here. Let's see if we can screen share this. So today is perfect. So today is now in Russia and in parts of Europe, including in Greece. Today is March 25th. For those who don't know, March 25th is the anniversary of the start of the Greek War of Independence. And for those who know, as your professor, I am a published author about modern Greek history, specifically about the Greek War of Independence. So I want to just quickly show you this. If you're interested, you can find this. Online. But what I'd like to do, so this is a book that came out, which I contributed an academic chapter to on the Greek War of Independence. And in particular, my article is about Jonathan Peckham Miller, who was a Vermont resident. He was born in the state of Vermont, and he decided as a young man, after going to the University of Vermont, he left his schooling and ended up going to Greece to join in the fight against the Ottoman Empire for Greece's liberation. And it's a very interesting story. He's a very interesting man. There's a monument to him, along with others in Greece. And I did research on him, and I was able to really put together the first major academic study of him. And he ended up rising to the rank of colonel in the Greek army, which is unbelievable, unheard of. And he ended up coming back to the US. He was a famous abolitionist. He worked to end slavery, and he ended up dying. And yes, Lord Byron was also there. Actually, very interesting story. Jonathan Peckham Miller inherited some of Lord Byron's items during the Greek War of Independence, because Lord Byron passed away, was killed just before Jonathan Peckham Miller got there. So, but he was inspired by Lord Byron, which is very interesting. So for those who are interested, I have this really interesting book chapter. As I'm saying, this is the anniversary of the Greek War of Independence, which was inspired by the American Revolution. It had connections with other revolutions, the Haitian Revolution, the French Revolution. It was part of that revolutionary, nationalist, and Enlightenment period. And one interesting note is that the first country to recognize to recognize the Greek War of Independence for what it was the country of Haiti. Imagine Haiti, this island in the Caribbean, well, Hispaniola, really the whole island, which is divided between Haiti and the Dominican Republic. This island nation gave its full support to the Greek War of Independence. So I think it's really interesting. It's a really interesting story. It's a lot of information that has been lost in history, and I was able to put it together, and I hope that you all really enjoy it and or have a chance to read it, I hope. And I have links on my link tree where you can go and find some of this material, and I hope that you have a chance to do that at some point. So with that, I'm going to take a few questions if we have them, and we'll end the stream at around 5 to 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat. I'm very happy to see all of you here. We have over 3,000 people live, so I greatly appreciate it. We had a great opportunity to talk about a very important article, and I hope that you all share that article. You can find it online about the Christians and Hezbollah. Please share it wide. Please share it far. It needs to be seen by a lot of people. And I think that it was not allowed to stay up because it was not only provocative and thought-provoking, but it completely flips the narrative that the West continues to have about the region on its head, where Christians and Muslims are working together against the Epstein empire, against Zionism, which is something that we see in memes, but not something that we see from a major newspaper and media outlet in the West. So I don't see any questions here in the chat. A lot of great love. Thank you all so much for the love. Absolutely, we need to come together to continue to fight, and we need to stay together. We need to stay united. That's a critical thing right now. And that's also correct. It's also the feast day of the Evangelicismo, of the Annunciation, which coincides with the Greek War of Independence. And it was in many ways dedicated to the Virgin Mary when they started the Greek War of Independence. There's a big narrative about that, also theologically speaking, which is something that you can take a look at. So with that, my dear class, beloved students, brothers and sisters, it's a pleasure as always to be with you all. Thank you for this short stream opportunity. I wanted to read this all with you. We will have another stream coming up in the coming days. Like I said, I'll be traveling, so just stay tuned. There'll be some good things coming on the horizon. A lot of great things are planned for the coming weeks and months. I'm healing up. I still have a few more weeks of recovery, and then I'll be hopefully a little bit back to normal, and we'll bring you the latest from all of the fronts around. So thank you all for continuing your journey to nothingness with me. I appreciate it, and we're in this together. Stay well, stay healthy, stay safe. If you're not following, again, follow DD Geopolitics, follow Christopher Halali Official. Share it, please. Share it far and wide. Don't be strangers. Let your friends, family know about the channel, and hopefully, if you have those fights at the dinner table, hopefully they can learn something from the channel, or at least have a nice opportunity to, kind of change their opinions, change their perspectives, or at least listen to an alternative viewpoint that I hope is influential and transformative. So thank you all again. Lots of love. Wishing you all a good night where you're at, or a good rest of the day, or a good morning if you are on the other time zones. And thank you again for being here. All the best. Lots of love. Stay sharp. Keep your minds open. Take care.